A red carpet prom party. A mother standing guard. One knock changed everything.
100 shots followed. Mass strangers disappeared into the night, leaving an entire neighborhood searching for answers. We'll continue to follow this story.
Was a protective mother the target or simply caught in the chaos? A celebration turned into a mystery. The investigation starts now.
From breaking stories to the facts that matter most, this is Unbelievable.
She was just a mom who wanted her daughter's prom night to be perfect. She decorated a red carpet. She set up the garage like a movie premiere. She brought food. She celebrated. And then, just before 1 o'clock in the morning, she stood at a front door and refused to let strangers in. That decision cost Brittany Members her life. Brittany Members was standing at the front door of a 2-story yellow short-term rental at 4002 North Park Avenue on the north side of Indianapolis, just before 1 a.m. on Sunday when someone tried to gain entry to her daughter's after-prom party. What unfolded next left a neighborhood shattered, a city demanding answers, and a family forever broken. This is the story of Brittany Marie Members. To understand this story, you have to understand Brittany. She was 38 years old, a mother, a protector, someone who showed up. The party that night had been set up in the driveway, in front of decorations on the garage, on a red carpet, festooned with banners of Brittany's daughter, a Crispus Attucks High School senior who was celebrating with her friends. This wasn't a random gathering. This was a milestone moment, a mother giving her daughter and her daughter's friends a proper send-off into adulthood. Members' father said he was at the party earlier in the evening dropping off food and had warned his daughter to shut down the celebration early to avoid trouble. But Brittany wasn't going anywhere. She was the parent on duty, the one keeping watch. As her father described it, they set everything up at the garage, so after they came through and introduced themselves, they went to the garage, where they stood and took pictures and stuff, like the movies. It was supposed to be a fairy tale night, a memory in the making. Instead, it became a crime scene. Saturday evening, May 2nd, 2026, the after-prom party was in full swing. There was a large number of people at the scene, including teenagers, at what police believe was a post-prom house party at a short-term rental home. The night looked like magic, a red carpet, decorations, laughter, music. But then, around midnight, the atmosphere began to shift. As Saturday night wore on, one neighbor across the street became increasingly worried about the size of the growing crowd at the big yellow house. Just before 1 a.m., strangers arrived. Masked strangers. According to Brittany's father, I was told somebody came to that door with ski masks on, and they tried to get in. And she said, "You can't get in. We don't know you. You can't come in." And he said, "So you can't come in?" And fired a shot point blank to my baby's head. One single devastating shot at close range to a mother who was simply protecting the children in her care. But it didn't end there. Residents told investigators that the shooting not only appeared targeted, but came in 2 rounds, designed to inflict even more damage on partygoers fleeing the scene. One neighbor described what she saw: a car backing up the street with its lights off, stopping, then moving again, and then she heard shots coming from both directions. Approximately 100 shell casings from multiple guns were discovered at the scene, the result of 3 volleys of gunfire, 2 from the assailants and 1 from people at the house. When police arrived, the yellow house was covered with bullet holes in its front windows. Prom decorations were scattered across the side of the house among evidence markers. A celebration became a battlefield. In the hours and days that followed, investigators began piecing together a deeply troubling picture. According to the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, officers responded to the 4000 block of Park Avenue just before 1 a.m. on the report of shots fired. When officers made it to the scene, they located a woman with injuries consistent with a gunshot wound. She was transported to an area hospital in critical condition before she was ultimately pronounced dead. As for the shooters, they came prepared. They wore masks, they drove with their headlights off, they came in an SUV, and they fired not once, but twice to ensure maximum damage. As one witness described it, it was like they were waiting for folks to come outside. At least to her, it sounded like they were shooting, and then people from the house were shooting back at them. Now, here is where the story takes a deeply complicated turn. Brittany identified herself as Brittany Grundy when she posted a photograph of heavily armed friends attending her daughter's prom night hours before the shooting. That photograph from earlier in the evening showed 3 partygoers displaying 4 guns, 2 of them large semi-automatic rifles with banana clips standing in front of party decorations. The Grundy name carries a dark history in Indianapolis. A cousin, Richard Grundy, was the leader of a notorious murderous Indianapolis drug gang a decade ago. He is currently serving a federal prison sentence on a narcotics conviction. His own daughter died in an accidental shooting after he was incarcerated. Several members of the Grundy crew have either been shot dead, wounded, arrested, or imprisoned since his departure from the scene. But here's what Brittany's father, Was Members, wants the world to know. Despite sharing the name, he said his daughter identified herself with the Grundy family, but she did not associate with it. Was made it plain, they think this has something to do with that, and it has nothing to do with that. This is something totally different. IMPD homicide detectives are still trying to determine what brought the masked gunman and his friends and their weapons to the party. As of today, no suspects have been publicly named. No arrests have been made. No charges filed. Just when you think you understand this case, another layer surfaces. Deputy Public Safety Director Tony Lopez stated they don't want that one shooting to become 4, and they don't want that one homicide to become 4. In the coming days, his staff would be engaging with the family, engaging with others, trying to figure out if retaliation is possible. That's right. Authorities weren't just investigating a murder, they were bracing for more. And then there's the short-term rental angle, a twist that shocked the entire city. The house at 4002 North Park Avenue, where this all happened, was not registered with the city. The owners were given 30 days to comply before penalties could potentially kick in. The short-term rental was owned by a firm from Fort Wayne and booked by an agent in Castleton. The property owner, who did not live in Indianapolis, was reportedly unaware of the city's registration ordinance. Meanwhile, the violence bled beyond the party itself. Across the street, one neighbor showed investigators where a stray bullet went through his front window, the couch where his son always sits, through a wall, and stopped at his back door. Children, innocent neighbors, a whole community all caught in the crossfire of one horrific night. Here at The Unbelievable, we cover cases exactly like this one, not for shock value, not for entertainment, because the truth demands to be told. Brittany Members is not a headline. She is not a statistic. She is a name, a mother, a life. And every detail of this case has been fact-checked and sourced from verified reporting, because that is the standard every victim deserves. We do not glorify the violence you just heard. We do not sensationalize the culture that surrounds it. We document it, so it cannot be ignored, forgotten, or swept under the rug. As of May 8th, 2026, this case remains unsolved. No arrests, no charges, no named suspects. What we do know is that Brittany's father, Was Members, is speaking out, with a voice heavy with grief and a message sharp with truth. He said, "No one knows unless it happens what it feels like to lose a child. My child was shot in her head at close range, and I seen brain matter on her hair." And in a moment that said everything about the state of this investigation, Hollis turned to the public with a plea. No one is coming forward with any information to help solve the crimes. They can only go by the information that they have. But if someone comes forward, this would be a better city. The city of Indianapolis is also responding, but it shouldn't have taken a murder to get here. IMPD Chief Tanya Terry addressed the community directly, calling on parents to get involved and saying the community would hear that message over and over. City County Councilor John Barth announced the formation of a special work group to review every element of Indianapolis's short-term rental process, from registration to enforcement. The Marion Kessler Neighborhood Association has confirmed the Park Avenue property has since been permanently removed from Airbnb. But none of that brings Brittany back. She stood at a door. She said no. She protected those kids, and she paid for it with her life. As IMPD homicide detectives continue the hunt for the shooters, anyone with information is encouraged to call Crime Stoppers of Central Indiana at 317-262-8477. Tips are anonymous. A reward may be available. Someone out there knows something. Brittany Marie Members was 38 years old. She was a mother, a protector, and the kind of person who showed up even when it was dangerous. She deserved to come home that night. Her family deserves justice. Her daughter deserves answers. Brittany was protecting children who weren't even her own. What does it say about our society when a mother doing the right thing is the one who pays the ultimate price? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're from Indianapolis, we want to hear from you. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Justice for Brittany starts with awareness. Here on The Unbelievable, we don't look away.